Thanks for coming today. There's coffee or tea in the back. You've been here for a few minutes, so you know. Boy, Tori is here. You guys see?
Clap for that.
Yeah, clap for that. All right. Everything's clappable now. I'm not sure what I can. Maybe I'll go stand over here out of the frame and see if you guys will clap for that. No, I'm just kidding. Tori is here, back in town from Chicago. You did several weeks of
Intense.
dev boot camp,
Yes.
or learned how to make things on the internet, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So welcome back. While you're here, we will enjoy your presence. But Tori has been an organizer for 1 Million Cups for like a year before she left, and Colleen is here. She fixed our banner, which was broken. Oh, we're going to clap for everything. All right. Clap for this banner. How about this? I got a lapel mic. We can clap for that, too. These guys both have ties on. Clap for that. All right, stop clapping. And we got one of a very friendly and familiar face here, Francie. You guys probably know her. If you come to 1 Million Cups, she'll be talking about her micro business, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a thing.
Yes.
Simply Integrated. But first, always have to talk about Key Start. $10,000 is on the line. I got it if you need it. Tomorrow night, third Thursday. Vince always get this wrong. You just have to count to 3. On the Thursdays, maybe you close one eye, you can get a little bit better. But tomorrow night's third Thursday. We're going to celebrate John from Alluvian. He's got a catalog coming out. It's pretty cool looking. I've gotten a sneak peek at that. So we're going to celebrate that. I'm not sure if it'll be ready tomorrow, but maybe he'll have some samples and stuff. We don't know yet.
Good, I'll be there.
All right. So TBD, keep an eye on Startup Peoria, Twitter or Facebook. And we'll let you know where that is. Because we wanted to go upstairs at time, but they're like, no, because it's dinner time and we want to serve people food. That's our business model. And I said, fair enough, time, fair enough. So that's it. That's it from me. I would like to introduce, you guys know her, right? Francie. With a new last name.
With a new last name.
Heinrichsen.
Went from Mueller to Heinrichsen.
Still German.
Still German.
All right, so welcome to the stage, Francie Heinrichsen.
Thank you very much. I am very happy to be here this morning. Like he said, my name is Francie. The name of my company is Simply Integrated. My background is in communication and event planning, and I have an MBA from Ball State University. Been coming to 1 Million Cups for about a year. I have enjoyed the coffee and the camaraderie and decided it is time to get up here and share my story. So it's a good place for me because I am very passionate about entrepreneurship. In fact, I got my entrepreneurship start when I was 11. One summer I went to sign language camp and I learned the material, and I came home and I decided I was going to charge all of my neighborhood friends to learn sign language. So that was my start. Brilliant idea, I know. But also growing up, my dad was an entrepreneur. And he started the company. He has grown it to now 50 employees. But there was a time when I watched him be the CEO and the marketing director and the secretary and the sales associate and the janitor all wrapped into one. We all know how that is. And so I became knowledgeable about people who run a company and really how much they take on. The beginning of last year, I was toying with the idea of starting a business and quitting my corporate job. And I went to my dad and I said, Dad, I want to start a company. I know entrepreneurs have to wear a lot of hats, and I love projects. I'm passionate about projects. So I want to combine the two and help entrepreneurs with their projects. And I said, but I think I need to work for someone else for about a year to understand the business model and how to run the company. And very boldly, he said, no, you are not going to do that. You can do this. And so I did what I call getting a running start and jumping off the cliff, taking the leap of faith to start a company. And I'm so glad that I did, because over the course of the past year, I have had the opportunity to come alongside many entrepreneurs and help them accomplish some goal. I told you I'm passionate about projects. So I love an idea, seeing an idea, and seeing where a company wants to take that idea, and then mapping out the steps and seeing a project from start to finish. So the people that I work with are often creative in nature. They often have big ideas. They just need help executing the details. So essentially, that's what I do. The people that I work with either don't have time, they don't have the know-how, or they have the time, they have the know-how, but they recognize that their time is more lucrative spent elsewhere in their business. So I help strategize, I help outsource projects. If there's something that's not in my wheelhouse, I will find a designer or a web designer and outsource those projects for people and help manage the details. Some of the projects that I have been involved in, I have helped plan an international conference and then had the opportunity to travel to Australia back in March and help execute the conference for 130 people from about 30 different countries. So it was an amazing experience. I've also done things as simple as research for a company. I've helped a company scale her business, rebrand, done very light web design. So I have been fortunate to be in the position where all of the clients that I have worked with have either found me or I have found them through networking opportunities, direct referrals, or word of mouth. And so a company comes to me, and it's been interesting to see what people bring to me. If it's not in my wheelhouse, like I said, I will refer out, but coming to me and saying, this is my big idea, my grand idea, can you help me execute it? So it has been just so much fun being able to be in that position to help people accomplish their dreams. So I have talked to you about who I am and what I do and what projects I manage. The last thing I want to talk to you about is how I give back as a company. And this is something that has gained a little bit more traction over the last month or so as I have found myself with a little bit more time. But because I am passionate about entrepreneurship, I want to see entrepreneurs, specifically micro businesses under 10 employees, typically, I want to see them thrive. And so I do that. I help in a number of ways. One of the ways is through a Facebook group that is fairly new called Resources for Micro Businesses, very creative. And it's a fairly small group at this point, but I do plan on making it bigger. It has just been so interesting to see the conversation that people spark and the way that people are so willing to help other people and really providing that opportunity for online networking and for people to come together online. So because micro businesses, oftentimes it's just you, or it's just you working from home and you work from a team remotely or work with a team remotely. People are looking for the opportunity to bounce their ideas off of. So my goal is to create a platform for that. I also want to help celebrate micro businesses with Micro Business Monday, which will be the second Monday of every month. And something new and a little bit outside my comfort zone I plan to host a Twitter chat on the second Monday of the month and spark the conversation that way. And then also Periscope. I would love to do host a Periscope conversation and let business owners put forth their ideas and their questions and challenges in that way too. So with that being said, I invite you to all of it. If you're in the microbusiness sector, please come join us in the Resources for Microbusinesses Facebook page. And also join us the second Monday of every month. Twitter chats will be in the evening and Periscope sessions too. So like I said, I'm fairly new to it, so no bad comments in the Periscope chat, but it'll be fun. So thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate the opportunity to share my story with you.
Nice.
Any questions? Yes.
Are you going to do any events for micro businesses?
I would love to. I feel like I have finally grasped my business and my systems and kind of the processes a little bit. So I would love the opportunity in the future to partner with somebody or an organization who would be able to place the focus on microbusinesses. And the reason, I should probably mention the reason microbusinesses are so important to me is because a small business can be anywhere under, 500 employees? So a 500 employee business functions very differently from a 10 employee business. So in that realm, yes, I would love to at some point. Yes.
Can you tell us how you met or acquired your first business project?
Good one.
Yes, I can. When I was first getting started, I attended a workshop at the Next Innovation Center, and Ross Miller has been integral in helping me get started to formulate these ideas and lay the foundation. And so I attended this presentation that he put on, and I've gotten so much out of it. I really went into it thinking like, oh, this is just, kind of a something that you have to do in order to check all the boxes, but it has been so beneficial to me. So I met several people in that class. One of them just gave me a call last week, and this was almost a year ago. So I think it was just a referral. I've worked with the St. Jude Runs organization and helped them do some social media marketing types of material. So they were definitely one of my first clients. Another one was somebody that I knew from home who was in the exercise industry, teaching classes and things like that. So she found out about what I was doing. She looked at my website and contacted me that way. And since then, she has referred me to another client who is very complex. She's probably the person that I've had the most complex interaction with. So referrals, I thought that putting a website up, if you build it, they will come. I think a lot of entrepreneurs do, and that hasn't been the case at all. It has been a great opportunity to display who I am and what I do after I already meet people or after they already learn who I am. But every single client I have gotten is through a referral of some kind or networking. Yes?
Could you give us an example of a typical business engagement, how you start the process that you have for helping entrepreneurs achieve these goals?
Absolutely. So the question is, what's the process of beginning to work with a client? So they call me, and we kind of talk about what their needs are, what challenges they're facing, what the ultimate outcome that they would like to see is. And then sometimes it's, the entrepreneur, the business owner tells me, this is what I want you to do, this is how I want you to do it, get to work. And sometimes they come to me and they have a challenge and they don't know how to solve it. So those are the ones that are interesting to me because we work a lot with Google Drive. So after that first phone call initially, we start to put ideas on Google Docs, and we're able to collaborate that way. Google Drive has been one of the best resources that I have used and that I could recommend. So we do a lot with that. Just a lot of collaboration. One of the clients who I have helped scale, she came to me and she said, I want to put a product on the market. This is the content that I want to be included. And I said, okay, let's get started. Let's map it out. Well, come to find out, when we started to design the product, she's like, well, I don't really like my logo. I don't really like my branding. Okay, we need to get that secure before we put a product on the market. Well, I don't really like my website. I need a new website. And so these are projects within a much larger project that I outsource. I find somebody who specializes in graphic design. I find somebody who specializes in web design. And so I'm helping to facilitate those pieces with those two different projects while ultimately we're wanting to put a product on the market. So that's one of the more complex ones that we've done. But we meet on the phone. I've actually never met this client. She lives in another state, and we've worked together very well for 8 months. And so that's been one of the most complex ones, but we meet just about once a week or more often on the phone and kind of go through what our strategy is or what our current project at hand is.
When you need to outsource, what is the most difficult service or product that you have to find? Where do you have the most problems?
What do people need the most?
Well, if you're outsourcing something and you're looking for someone to outsource that to, which ones are the most difficult to outsource?
Most recently, the question was which are the most difficult types of projects to outsource. Most recently, I had a company who needed a marketing overhaul. And you have a lot of marketing firms, but are those necessarily the ones that are going to be best for a little small town restaurant? Probably not. So somebody who does what I do in a similar position would be a great resource for that company, but I didn't know of anyone who did that, and I don't have the complex marketing background to be able to fill their needs. So you never want to tell a client that I can't help them, but ultimately if that's what's best for the client and for me, then that's what we do.
An honest answer.
So in the course of starting up this business, what's the most difficult hurdle and how did you overcome it?
Sure. Coming to understand, what's the most difficult hurdle? Coming to understand who the market is, I would say, was the most difficult hurdle. I think when I first started meeting with Ross, I had an idea in my head that I would have to specialize in a certain industry. And that hasn't been the case. Thankfully, I haven't had to knock on doors or cold call at this point. The work has just continued to come in, and I've had referrals. But knowing what the needs are, because a lot of times entrepreneurs are so busy, they don't know really what their needs are. They just, they say, just throw it on my back, I'll do it. So to have a company or an entrepreneur stop and realize that they have the capability to outsource this certain project or this certain task is often some of the hardest. They don't know that they could ultimately utilize a resource like what I am offering. Yes.
What's the plan for if you get too busy?
If I get too busy, that's an interesting predicament to be in. Transparency, honesty, I found out that managing people wasn't something that I gained satisfaction from. I know a lot of people do, but ultimately it wasn't something that I loved to do. So when I started this company, I started it with the idea, exactly your question, if I were to grow, what would I do? Because I am that person who says, just throw it on my back. I'll do it. I'll take care of it. So I could take on more projects where I outsource design work or web design and ultimately charge a management fee. That's one way to do it. There are other opportunities to scale, which is similar question to what you're asking. And there are opportunities to teach other people about something that I know. And a lot of online businesses right now are going the education route where they put on a webinar or they create an ebook or something like that. That is something that I would find challenging and fulfilling and satisfying. So I may take it that direction as time goes on. Anyone else? Yes.
Yes. Do you've said a lot of stuff kind of in the marketing and a little bit of project management. Do you deal at all with finance?
No. Do I deal with finance? No. I know enough to know that I do not deal with finance. In fact, I would be somebody who would enlist those services for myself. So it's a very important part of business. In fact, I have come to understand that if you don't have that piece in order, you You need to get that piece in order in order to be able to be productive and effective. But no, that's not something that I handle. Daryl, did you have a question?
Well, yeah, so what is your background? What is it that you bring to this that allows you to take on these projects?
Sure. One of the things that I do most often is writing and editing. So that was really the basis for this company. I would write and edit, for companies who needed it. And I have creative and technical type of work. But I have a background in communication and event planning. And so the event planning piece is important, and I have used it in this business. But ultimately, it has helped me to understand how to bring the various pieces of a project together. Having an idea, having an endpoint, and then being able to map out the steps along the way to divert bottlenecks, to be able to have two projects working simultaneously, to be able to finish that project on time, which would be the event date. So that's my background. I also have an MBA. When I graduated with my communication degree from Ball State, I crossed over, I say across the street, and went to do an MBA from Ball State. So that is my approach. I look at a project not just from a narrow scope of I'm going to finish this project and that's going to be it for the company, but how does this project fit into the grand scheme, the bigger picture, and how can I help the company be strategic with this project? Money saving, time saving, and all of the different things that a company needs to keep in mind as they're fitting this project into the bigger picture. Yes?
Where are you from, and how did you end up in Peoria?
I am from just north of Indianapolis, Carmel, Westfield. I'm actually from Westfield, but it's a small town and not a lot of people know where that's from. So I associate with Carmel, but they were our rivals, so it's kind of, it's tough to do that, But yeah, I'm from Westfield, a little town. I graduated with under 300 to give you an idea of the size. And I moved here because of my husband, who is here today. He is from the Eureka area, and he lived in Baltimore and Atlanta while we were dating, and then ultimately took a job here in the central Illinois area. So I moved over here about 3 years ago and have really felt like the community has been just very welcoming. So I've enjoyed it. All right.
Anybody else? All right, I'll find one. All right. I'm trying to think of something really hard to ask, but maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just say, what can we do? What can we do here, those of us in the audience here, to help you get over your next hurdle or something?
Yeah, well, I would like to
that.
have a local presence in this online community of micro businesses. So if you do fit into that sector, I would love if you would come join the conversation in our Facebook page. If you hear of an opportunity where a business needs help that I can provide, I would so appreciate the referral. And that's about it. I mean, I appreciate being able to come here and, meet with people one-on-one, to be able to network and to be able to learn about other people's ideas. Ultimately, if I didn't have these types of opportunities, I'd be sitting in my office behind a computer. So love getting out and learning about other people's situations. And so I just appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
You are welcome. Thank you.
All right.